You're looking at a map of the world's most critical resource. It's not oil, it's not lithium, it's copper. And right now, the entire green transition, the shift to electric vehicles, renewable power, and a decarbonized grid is accelerating toward a wall. A wall made of geology, time, and simple physics. We've built a vision of the future that depends on a material we cannot create, only extract. And we are about to discover what happens when ambition meets the hard limits of the earth. This is the Energy Historian, uncovering the hidden systems that power civilization. Copper is civilization's silent partner. It's in the walls of your house, the lines under the street, the motor in your car. It's the best conductor of electricity we have, short of silver. For over a century, global demand grew steadily, roughly in line with global GDP. It was predictable, manageable. Then, around 2015, something changed. A new demand curve appeared. It wasn't about more houses or more appliances. It was about electrifying everything. An electric vehicle uses about 4 times more copper than a conventional car. A wind turbine can contain several tons of it. Solar farms need miles of copper wiring. The International Energy Agency estimates that to meet net zero goals by 2050, we'll need to mine more copper in the next 25 years than we have in the last 5,000. Think about that for a second. The entire timeline of human civilization from the Bronze Age to the iPhone, and we need to match that output in a single generation. The transition now moves at the speed of mining. So we set out to do it. Governments announced targets. Automakers pledged all-electric lineups. Utilities planned massive grid expansions. The money began to flow, trillions of dollars in capital, all betting on a future built with copper. But there's a catch, a brutal physical catch. You cannot will copper into existence. You have to find it, and the earth is not making more. Copper ore grades have been in free fall for a century. In 1900, miners might have worked ore that was 4% copper. Today, the global average is closer to 0.5%. You now need to move, crush, and process 8 times more rock to get the same amount of metal. That takes more energy, more water, more time, and it creates more waste. The low-hanging fruit is gone. What remains is deeper, more remote, and often in more politically complex places. The easy copper is already in our past. This is where the trap begins to close. Major new mines take a staggering amount of time to bring online. From discovery to first production is routinely 15 to 20 years. You need to find the deposit, secure the rights, conduct feasibility studies, raise billions in capital, build the processing plants, the roads, the power lines, and the ports. And you must do all of this while navigating local opposition, environmental reviews, and shifting political winds. It's a marathon, run in a world that is suddenly demanding a sprint. Look at Chile, the world's largest copper producer. Its output has been flat for years. Major projects like Quebrada Blanca and Escondida expansions cost tens of billions and took over a decade to complete. In Peru, social unrest and blockades routinely shut down major mines, taking hundreds of thousands of tons of supply offline without warning. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, a treasure trove of minerals, instability is a constant tax on production. The entire system depends on rocks from a few, often fragile places. Now, layer on the energy paradox. Mining and refining copper are intensely energy-hungry processes. As ore grades drop, energy consumption soars. To get the copper we need for a green grid, we must burn vast amounts of fossil fuels today. It's a brutal feedback loop. We need copper to build renewables, but mining that copper requires diesel, coal, and natural gas. The very transition designed to reduce emissions is, in its construction phase, guaranteed to increase them. The bottleneck isn't demand, it's extraction. And here is the market's quiet signal. Despite this looming shortage, the price of copper, while high, has not skyrocketed to the levels you might expect. Why? Because price is a signal of immediate, traded scarcity. The real shortage is not in the trading pits of London or Shanghai. It's in the physical pipeline, 5 to 10 years out. The market sees the train coming, but it hasn't hit the bridge yet. Manufacturers and governments are still operating on hope, signing deals and setting targets based on projected supply that has no earthly way of materializing on schedule. Let's make this concrete. The European Union wants 30 million electric vehicles on its roads by 2030. The United States is aiming for 50% EV sales by the same year. China is adding renewable capacity at a breathtaking pace. Each of these commitments comes with a copper number attached. Add them all up, and the numbers collide. Bloomberg onther effis something if the measurement something try the treschen fallis if all puyer. The lumas raya lentral risit to pen billion 30 was trails. Bloomlaund trails an hour man named up to name for you one her try the treschen then stone mil ones. Good in by 1 mil 1 herd cones dales. Gone mil 1 no 1 no 1 no. What happens then? The laws of economics don't suspend themselves for a good cause. When physical scarcity hits, allocation begins. Price is one mechanism. But in a world of national priorities and strategic industries, something else happens. Hoarding. Governments will secure supply for their own critical industries' defense, essential infrastructure, flagship automakers. What's left will be fought over in a global auction. The cost of every electric vehicle, every wind turbine, every mile of new grid cable will rise. Projects will be delayed, timelines will stretch. The ambitious targets set in comfortable conference rooms will meet the unyielding reality of the crust of the earth. This is the copper trap. We have painted a vision of a future that is materially impossible on the timeline we've promised. The entire green transition is, in effect, a single, massive bet on our ability to scale an ancient geological industry at a speed it has never achieved. $1 trillion shift depends on rocks from a few places. So what breaks? The first thing to bend will be the narrative. We will hear more about resource efficiency and circular economies. Recycling will become a major talking point, and it should be. But recycling only feeds the system with what's already in it. It cannot grow the stock. You cannot recycle a car that hasn't been built yet. The second thing to break will be the secondary goals. If copper is scarce and expensive, do you use it for a luxury electric SUV or for the transformer in a hospital? Do you build that new wind farm or harden the existing grid? Choices will become brutal and zero-sum. And finally, the fragility of the whole system will be exposed. We are replacing one set of dependencies on oil from the Middle East, gas from Russia, with another, copper from Chile, Peru, and the DRC. The supply chains are different, but the vulnerability remains. A strike at a single Chilean mine, a new resource nationalism law in Peru, a landslide, a drought, any of these can send shockwaves through a system with no slack left. We are at a curious moment. The blueprints for the future are finished. The capital is pledged. The political will is, for now, aligned. But the foundation of that future, the literal, physical material, is not there, and it cannot be rushed. The transition has a deadline set by climate models, but it has a timeline set by geology, and those two clocks are not in sync. If this gave you a new perspective on the material forces shaping our world, hit subscribe. Let me know in the comments. When you look at the promises of the energy transition, what other hidden dependencies do you see?